What determines your destiny, your future? Is it you and you alone? Or is it predestined by a loving God? Or perhaps, as George Carlin proposed, a deity that resembles Joe Pesci with a baseball bat. The deity gets things done. For 26 years, I had a flower business in New Mexico, and I thought that was my identity, the flower guy. But then the world around me was changing. I was changing, and I was in denial. The first time I realized something was really wrong was during a Toastmasters meeting, during table topics. The question I was asked is, how do you make a lasting impression on someone you meet for the first time? And my hand was shaking really bad, as it is now. And my response was, well, the way you make a lasting impression on someone for the first time is you do the hokey pokey. Your right hand in, you shake it all about, shake it all about. The reality is I couldn't stop the shaking. In the Bible, in the book of Matthew, it says, never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Well, what about inappropriate or distracting hand gestures? I don't think Matthew was a Toastmaster. The point is, I became more and more self-conscious of shaking and just stopped coming to meetings altogether. And the other thing that was alarming was being stopped by the police 3 or 4 times a week for my erratic driving. A police officer stopped me and said, Wilbur, they had a hard time deciding which lane to drive in, son, Mr. Wilbur. Another police car came, another car. There are more police officers showing up at my traffic stop than you find at a Dunkin' Donuts any given day of the week. So I had to go to court, and traffic court, I told the judge, I'm determined to find out what's wrong with my car. And so I was having a mechanic work on my car while I used a rental-car to get around, and to my shock, there's red and blue lights flashing in my rearview mirror. The police officer informed me that I was all over the road. The problem wasn't the car, the problem was me. So I was referred to see a neurologist, and the neurologist, after a bunch of tests, determined that it was not a bad case of the hokey pokey, rather I had Parkinson's disease, which accounts for the shaking. Also, impaired balance was another issue which caused my driving to be ridiculous. And I was having these hallucinations about people who really weren't there, like Joe Pesci with a baseball bat. So I had to close my flower business, 26 years. No more business, no more car. What do I do now? So a friend invited me to her son's graduation. I thought, okay, but when I get there, it's a preschool. A preschool graduation? Well, whatever. And during the graduation, these little beady eyes are staring at my hand, which is shaking out of control. So I stuck my hand in my pants pocket. Well, a little girl started giggling, pointing at my hand, jerking around my pocket, and her mother ran over, grabbed her daughter, dragged her out of the room, covered her eyes with her hands. The mother misinterpreted exactly what was going on, but according to the police report, I'm not allowed within 500 yards of any elementary or preschool, and I've been put on some type of list. I became really depressed, and I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was sharing with my physical therapist with Parkinson's. She listened very intently. After a long pause, she said, wah, wah, wah. You're still alive, Parky. You gotta fight it. She told me that when I have my shoelaces, to attack them. And when I'm feeling my body is getting slow and rigid, to exaggerate my movements. She said, you have to own your body. She told me to say, I own you, I own you, I am in control. You're not the boss of me. I think she attended a lot of seminars with Tony Robbins. But I did it. I practiced what she instructed me to do, and it really had a big impact. I mean, it was so impactful. I was doing it everywhere. The practice was ritual. I just wish that the manager of the Whole Foods could share my enthusiasm, but he had me escorted out of the building. So when I got back to see my therapist again, I told her about my victories. She said, well, good for you, Parky. Maybe you can help him if you're up to it. She pointed to this elderly man who sat like a statue staring at the wall. So I came over and I shared my victories and what I accomplished and what I was able to do. And he looked back at me and he gave me the hand, the claw, because he has arthritis. Wasn't what I was expecting. But I realized it's not about me. It's about how I can help others through humor. I can make through humor. So I'm still breathing. My heart's still beating. I'm still alive. What can I do today? And so I thought, I started feeling gratitude for the policeman who stopped me, for the mother who misconstrued my actions. I even have Parkinson's. So while we wait for Michael J. Fox to go back to the future and bring back the cure, I'm going to launch a YouTube channel, The Lighter Side of Parkinson's, where I can share the benefits of Parkinson's, like never had to buy an electric toothbrush, making hollandaise sauce in half the time. And as far as seeing the people who aren't there, well, now my imaginary friends finally have somebody to talk to. Of course, they keep me up late at night with all their endless chatter, which explains the insomnia. So there's a lot of things I don't have control over, and Parkinson's is a progressive disease, but I still have control over my mind. And now, when I'm like in a dangerous part of town, I don't feel vulnerable, because I can declare, I own you, I own you, you're not the boss of me, I am in control, I have a loaded gun, I have no idea how it works, I have Parkinson's disease, and I'm off my medication. Madam Toastmaster.